China had gone a long way in alleviating the living standards of the Chinese people. 1.4 billion or even more. There is no such other country like China. And the last batch of those who are really living with poverty line, as had been defined by the United Nations, has been just brought up to zero level. So there is no more poor anymore in China. This by itself is a huge achievement. I mean, many countries did not reach this point. In China, we are talking here about a different political system. The political system in China is based into the satisfaction of the population at large. Legitimacy of the system comes from the satisfaction and approval of the people. During the last decades, everybody, any fair observer would say that all Chinese are happy about what's happening in their country. They're optimistic also about the future. That's really a sign of approval. And that gives the legitimacy of the system itself and the institution which they are governing. This is not the case in different countries. Different countries, they go into liberal democracy. That's why the emphasis of leadership here is what is it which could please the population at large? What is it that the people are expecting? The party is enshrined within the people because it's a huge party which knows what's happening throughout. It is within the system. It is built-in system. The party is from within the population. They would adjust exactly according to the needs of the people. Many people who are not Chinese, they don't know how the system works. Actually, there is so much monitoring into what is the satisfaction which is happening inside a huge population. That goes from cities to towns to villages to the countryside. My understanding after living here in this country 6 years, I've been following what's going on in the countryside when I do travel inside China. They would say, we are not happy about this, we are happy about that. So it's very dynamic kind of interaction, democracy, which reaches to the top level, at the higher level of leadership. So every year, whenever the two sessions are held, those policies would take in consideration the feedback which is coming from the masses. So this is quite, an experience which doesn't look like in other places. Our people are dying on daily basis, young people. The Israeli practices against our population at large is really unprecedented in the term of its cruelty and its lack of keeping at least a hope for a peaceful solution. I mean, it's very depressing measures, and it shows that the peace process for Palestine seems to be in a very, very tough challenge for us. And the Chinese position about the two-state solution that the whole world is endorsing is quite real. So for China, stability is very important in its foreign policy. That's why China is devoted to put its effort into that and ready to work with all other relevant actors at the international level. So this dynamic foreign policy of China is quite important. And now we had seen recently, China is proposing even a position paper on the situation in Ukraine, which is quite important. And no wonder it had received a good endorsement by many countries around the world. And I hope China can really make a constructive move in that direction. Of course, that depends on the positive response from other players in the European Union, by our friends in Russia and both in Ukraine. China luckily have got a balanced relation between both countries, and they are well situated to play a positive role. So we are quite happy about the proactive foreign policy of China, putting itself at the forefront to be a peace builder, stability provider. I think China is advocating that we need really to adjust the global system to ensure that it's multilateral, it's not unilateral, and it's multipolar. I mean, those countries which they are responsible because they are big, because they are powerful in their economy and their technology, should take care also for those who do not have. We were talking about equality within one society, but there is also lack of equality among the global citizens of the world. There are people who are on the disadvantage receiving aid in Africa and Latin America-ish countries where they have got really serious challenges, even to afford basic needs in housing and water and education. This is a responsibility for all of us to ensure that human at large is living also with reasonable equality. And we need to fill the gap between those who have and those who have not at the international level, not only at national level. I think we need to thank China for initiating those kind of proposals, which is actually put forward for discussion, for debate, for some people also to add into more ideas into that. That's exactly what is meant by providing those initiatives.